Do you want to know why the person who impacts your life so much can't get you out of their mind? In this video, we will reveal the reasons behind this. Get ready for a deep dive into a spiritual message, exploring two distinct groups of energies and intentions. Each group unveils nuances of feelings, insecurities, and hidden desires that this person holds in their heart. If this topic resonates with you, subscribe now and comment, "I manifest clarity and true connection in my life." This way, you will attract the answers your heart seeks. Shall we begin? The first group reveals a picture of intense reflections, where this person is led to revisit the moments when they overlooked a potential deeper connection. Within the silence of their own emotions, they find themselves facing what could have been what slipped away. They feel consumed by a silent regret that gnaws at them with every memory of you. There is a sense that destiny brought you in sync for a brief instant, but perhaps there was a lack of courage or clarity to seize the moment. Now, like a movie replaying in their mind, they go back, reviewing every detail of your gestures, your words, and your gaze. Nostalgia weighs heavily, and with it, a desire for redemption. In every second of this memory, the notion arises that something valuable was wasted. Time could have been better spent. Words could have been said, but something held them back. Now there is a restlessness in their heart, a silent search to fix the pieces left hanging between you both. And as if guided by the soul, this person begins to question their decisions. She asks herself, "Why didn't I try harder? Why was I so quick to distance myself?" Each question carries an answer that she may never have the courage to verbalize, but which consumes her innermost being like embers that burn slowly, revealing deep and hard truths to face. In this person's eyes, the certainty now blooms that the connection between you was not a coincidence. This feeling of loss is accompanied by a pain she herself cannot explain. Something remained incomplete, a story that could not be fully lived, but which still persists in memory. No matter how hard she tries, this person cannot divert her gaze from the possibilities left behind. There is a tightness, a sense that destiny offered something unique, and that in her hesitation, she may have let it slip through her fingers. And this torments her, creating an energy field that binds her to her memories with you. With each attempt to forget, she feels the presence of that lost moment like a constant shadow, something that resurfaces at the most unexpected times, bringing back the memories, the unspoken words, and the touches that could have been. It is a weight that she carries in silence, but which her soul never tires of bringing to the surface. This person begins to realize how strong your presence was, something that made her feel alive in a different way. She has lost the habit, the custom of having you as an emotional reference, and now she feels like someone adrift, trying to rediscover what she lost, not knowing exactly where to look. There is a bittersweet feeling that accompanies her memories. She remembers the moments of happiness you shared, but she also feels the emptiness of what you did not experience. This contrast traps her between the desire to move forward and the impulse to try to relive what has passed. However, every step she tries to take in the opposite direction is blocked by a feeling that makes her return to the starting point. You. She can't free herself from this memory and wonders if it means something deeper, something that transcends simple desire. Feeling the weight of regret becomes a constant for this person, who finds herself chained to a past that may never be reclaimed. This feeling is like a tide that pulls her down, forcing her to reevaluate every small choice, every action, every moment when she could have given more and was held back by her own insecurities. In silence, she questions whether there would still be a possibility to rekindle this bond, or if the opportunities have truly faded forever. The notion of having lost something priceless awakens in her a deep, almost visceral yearning to correct the course of events. But this desire brings along fear. The fear that it's too late, that time has raised insurmountable barriers between you. And in this mix of desire and fear, this person finds herself in a profound dilemma, torn between the courage to attempt a new beginning and the fear of being rejected by you, of seeing in your eyes the indifference that she dreads so much. Within herself, the image of a broken bridge emerges, separating the present from the past, and she wonders if there's still a way to rebuild it, to connect the two sides that distance and time have worn away. Each memory of you is like a brick she tries to fit into this imaginary project, a secret desire to reclaim the moments that were left unfinished. But she knows that time takes its toll, and that often what is left behind is lost forever. This person also feels the weight of her own failures, the awareness that, at times, she could have tried harder to make things work between you. Deep down, there is a sincere recognition that she herself created obstacles, whether out of fear, pride, or uncertainties that paralyzed her. Each of these mistakes now presents itself with almost cruel clarity, as lessons she finds herself forced to learn too late. Still, the desire to try to rise from her own ashes drives her. She dreams of the idea that perhaps you are open to a new conversation, an opportunity to rewrite your story in a more mature, more conscious way. In her heart, a thread of hope still persists, even if it is tenuous, even if it seems foolish to believe that the past can be redone, and she clings to this thread, fearing that if she lets go, nothing will remain but regret. The feeling of loss and regret, however, brings with it a new perception. She understands that it was not just a fleeting connection, but something that touched the depths of her being. The intensity of this bond makes her realize how important you were in her path, how much you brought light and understanding to parts of herself that were previously obscured. And this realization, though painful, is also a source of inspiration for her to strive to become a better person. With each passing day, this person revisits memories and wonders if she would be capable of honoring what you meant to her. She imagines reapproaching, but with an open heart, free from the blocks that restrained her before. She wants to be honest with herself and with you, to show herself as she really is, without the masks that previously protected but also limited her. Remembering what they lived through, she is overtaken by a wave of longing that leaves her vulnerable, aware of how painful her withdrawal was and how much she deprived herself of happiness. With each detail she relives, she realizes how much the time they spent together marked her essence, and no matter how much she tried to deny it, she increasingly surrenders to the certainty that you hold a unique space in her heart, a place that no one else seems capable of filling. Her thoughts turn to the idea of reconciliation, of a possible journey together, now without the fears that once haunted her. She wonders if she would have the strength to open up again, to face the consequences of a new attempt. The fear of rejection still exists, but there is also the uncontrollable desire to regain what was lost, to at least try to build a new chance for the two of you. She finds herself questioning what fate has in store for the both of you. Is this feeling a call to a new phase, or just a reflection of something that has already ended? And without knowing the exact answer, she decides to surrender to the present, to this moment of reflection and self-discovery, knowing that regardless of what happens, you helped her grow, to see the world and herself with new eyes. The memories, still vivid, continue to guide her, and each one is a reminder that despite the flaws, this connection was true, intense, and changed her way of seeing life. She realizes that even if circumstances don't allow for a reunion, what was lived will never be erased. This experience transformed her, awakened feelings in her that she didn't even know existed, and as painful as it is, that alone is a gift. Even though uncertainties accompany her, she feels an internal need to thank the universe for having met you. The feeling of loss blends with genuine gratitude, as if amidst everything she had found a part of herself. She understands that by knowing you, she was able to see herself more clearly, was able to dive into feelings that made her more human, more sensitive, more aware of her own emotions. And it is with this gratitude, mixed with regret, that she cherishes her memories fondly. Deep inside, she carries the hope that somewhere in time and space, you might still cross paths. So until then, she will continue on her journey, knowing that this chapter of life left indelible marks on her soul, and that, in some way, the connection between you will continue to live in her heart. Every day, she is confronted by memories that arise without warning, like distant but intense echoes of what you shared. Even though she tries to move on and occupy her mind with other distractions, it is as if something calls her back, as if the bond between you was an invisible link that insists on pulling her into the depths of feelings that never faded. And in this confrontation with the past, she realizes that more than simple longing, there is a kind of emptiness, an absence that makes her question the meaning of each choice, of each step she has taken since you parted ways. This emptiness seems to be the reflection of an inescapable truth, that you were someone capable of filling spaces in her life that no one else seems to understand. As time goes by, she begins to recognize that the connection between you had a dimension that she herself did not understand before. Now, with the distance, she is able to perceive nuances that were hidden in the haste, in everyday concerns, and that she may have ignored out of fear or lack of understanding. It is these details, these subtleties, that make her reflect on how much you were essential for her growth, her worldview, and even her way of relating to herself. At the same time, a deep desire to fix what was broken begins to bloom. She imagines an honest conversation, without the defenses of before, where each could open their heart and share what they still feel, the fears and hopes they still hold. This thought brings a sense of peace, as if, at least in her mind, there could exist a reunion where the wounds could finally be healed. But along with this desire, she also faces the shadows of her own insecurities. Old fears, which always prevented her from giving herself completely, start to resurface. She wonders if she would be strong enough to face the difficulties that reconciliation might bring, or if the fear of suffering would push her away once more. It is as if she was at a crossroads, where one path leads back to you but the other protects her from the risk of new abandonment. Even so, there is an inner voice that insists on reminding her that certain feelings are rare, and that maybe what she feels for you is something she will never find again. This idea unsettles her because, while she wants to protect her heart, she knows that avoiding the reunion might mean a lost opportunity, something that will forever remain in the realm of what if. In the midst of these reflections, she begins to see life from a new perspective. She realizes that no matter how painful some experiences are, they bring lessons that the soul needs to assimilate. And perhaps, in some way, you have been her greatest teacher, the mirror that made her face parts of herself that she had never seen before. This understanding makes her feel a deep gratitude, even if mixed with regret and longing. In moments when she allows herself to imagine a second chance, her heart fills with a faint but intense hope. She finds herself mentally planning how this reunion would be, the words she would choose, the sincerity with which she would express what she feels. And in her mind, it is as if a new story could begin, more mature, more solid, built based on the lessons of the past. But reality always brings her back to the present, reminding her of the barriers that exist, both internal and external. She knows that time has passed, that you have changed, and that maybe some things will never be the same again. This thought causes a tightness in her chest because, while she wishes to move forward, she feels that leaving these memories behind would be like giving up an essential part of herself. Still, the desire to see you well, to imagine you at peace, persists. She wants to believe that regardless of what the future holds, the love she shared with you was genuine and left a deep mark on both. And perhaps deep down, that is the most important thing. To know that the feeling was real, that she allowed someone to enter her life and touch her heart in a way that will never be forgotten. On the quietest days, she allows herself to close her eyes and relive every moment, every glance, every touch. It is in these moments that she realizes how much you are still present in her heart, like a flame that never completely goes out, even amid the uncertainties and distances that life imposes. And secretly, she nurtures the hope that someday, fate might conspire in your favor again. No matter how much she tries to move forward, the feeling that your story isn't over yet persists. It's as if somewhere in time, your souls are still dancing in sync, waiting for the right moment to reunite. She knows she cannot force this reunion, that life has its own rhythm, and that perhaps the lesson now is to learn to wait, to trust in the natural flow of the universe. And in this learning process, she opens herself to accept that, even if the future holds different paths, what you lived was a unique and irreplaceable experience. There is a beauty in understanding that some connections are eternal, even if they manifest in different forms over time. And this understanding consoles her, like an invisible hug that comforts her on the days of greatest longing. She finally realizes that love, when true, transcends the barriers of time and space. And although she doesn't know exactly what the future holds, She knows that, in some way, you will always be connected, like two souls that met to evolve and transform together. And that in itself is already a gift that she cherishes deeply within her being. And so this person realizes that regardless of the direction their lives take, the bond between you will always be a special part of who she is today. Perhaps time will bring answers, or perhaps the longing will remain as a light breeze, reminding her of what was once so true. The beauty of the connection you lived never fades, it remains stored, pulsing in silence, like a lit flame. If this message touched your heart, subscribe to the channel, leave your like and share in the comments the affirmation, "I manifest true love and reconciliation in my life." Your journey starts now.